kidnap the Santa Claus? I want to do it. Let's draw straws. Jack said we should work together, three of a kind, now and forever. Da 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 da. Hello, this is Ray Miller coming back at you with yet another chapter in my now returning series, Propped Up. And today we are looking at the masks of Lock, Shock, and Barrel. Oogie's boys from Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, I am one of those basic white bitches who loves Nightmare Before Christmas. I grew up with it. I had it on VHS back when that was a thing. My mom hated it because she really, really hates the boogeyman. Because if you want to shake it, well, something very wrong. Because this may be the last time you hear the boogie song. Whoa. Oh man, like Nightmare Before Christmas is such a great movie. Like, oh lord, I'm holding all three in my hands here. And I think Oogie's, like, of course, you know, I think my favorite character overall is probably Jack, but I think another one of my favorite characters, or at least, you know, a trio of them, if you will, are Oogie's boys. These trick-or-treaters with their kooky masks who just run around being absolute gremlins. I love them so much. And it's like and yeah, I think they kind of are. They represent one of the most important parts of Halloween. Like, I mean, you know, you go through the song, "This Is Halloween," and you see most of the monster types represented. You know, you got werewolves, scarecrows, vampires, demons. But, and of course you have the Pumpkin King himself, Jack Skellington. As a kid, I actually used to call it Pumpkin King Jack, because for some reason I didn't want to call it Nightmare Before Christmas. Because I wanted to watch Jack Pumpkin King. I believe this movie came out in 93, the year I was born. And I don't know what possessed my parents to let their child watch this stop-motion horror show, but I absolutely fell in love with it from a young age and insisted on watching it. What do you call James the Giant Peach gave little 2 or 3-year-old me nightmares, but not Nightmare Before Christmas. That was just wholesome fun with its evil bug man and its screaming skeleton. Anyway, so, like, we don't know much about, because, like, Nightmare Before Christmas is a simple movie. It is, and, like, a lot of good musicals are. Like, you know, you don't go to Wizard of Oz for the complex emotions. You go there to watch, you know, Scarecrow and Tin Man do funny dances, and to see the Wicked Witch be absolutely terrifying for little kids. And another thing, I think that Lock, Shock, and Barrel represent kind of the archetypal, like, costumes. Like, there have been devils since ancient times. Like, devil costumes for kids. Like, if you look at, you know, 1950s costumes, you do see devil masks. And, let's see, Locke was voiced by... Locke was voiced by, Greg Froops, who is an alumnus of, he's an improv comic who is probably most famous as one of the voices, or as one of the people in, Whose Line Is It Anyway? He's also, one of the head announcers in, Star Wars Episode 1 of The Phantom Menace, and more recently, he was one of the announcers alongside John DiMaggio in Mad World, which is like this which is like if Frank Miller's Sin City were mixed with, I don't know, a Japanese game show. Oh, Running Man, duh. If Sin City were, if Running Man had the graphical style of Sin City. Oh, what's the new one? Squid Game. Yeah. Anyway, and then yeah. Shock is voiced by, oh Lord, I'm forgetting her name. She's she plays Sally in the movie. She also plays she also plays Lydia Dietz in Beetlejuice, and more recently she's the mom or whatever on Schitt's Creek. I forget. And then of course you have Beryl, who is played by Danny Elfman. Wait, hold on one second. One of these three might have actually been voiced by Paul Reubens. Oh, Lord. No, because I think Paul Reubens would have been too big a get at the time for just a cameo. I'm not sure, though. Because, like, Greg Froops, it makes sense. He was already playing the Harlequin demon in that movie, or in Nightmare. I know Beryl. I know these two were definitely who I said they were, but Locke may have been Paul Reubens. I'm not sure though. If it was, I'm gonna feel really bad. Oh, I do hate how these two masks are designed to reflect the movie totally, but this one, for some reason, decided to keep Beryl's eyes. Like, they're masks. They're not supposed to have eyes. Well, I mean, besides the eye holes. So it kind of, but also this one's a little sturdier than the other two. Like, this one is harder plastic, whereas these are more flexible. And this one has 3 straps. Well, I mean, a head strap or a second strap that attaches to the, makes the more sturdy, whereas these two were very similarly built. But it also makes storage easier on them. You can just put one on the other. It also is hard to wear these two, because this one's a lot easier for me to wear because it's kind of almost built for my head shape. But these two, like, look at this. I cannot tilt my head down if I wear this. This one's a little easier, but it's still got that point, so I can't kind of... And as the oldest of 3 gremlins, I think that we can all kind of appreciate the mischief characters. Because, like, Oogie's boys are true neutral. They are just... Well, no, they're chaotic neutral. They'll help Jack. And they even tell the mayor where Jack is so that he can get rescued in the end. But they are absolutely about, they thrive on chaos. They deliver Santa Claus to Oogie Boogie. And, like, there is something so interesting about these chaotic characters that will help you, but also betray you without a second thought. And, well, they don't betray Jack, but, They fear Jack. If we may lose some pieces, and then Jack will beat us black and green. There's this implication that it's less. They don't respect Santa Claus's autonomy as a human being, because in Halloween Town, most of them are undead. They don't really give a crap if they get exploded or torn apart. And the Oogie's kids have probably one of the best and yet most disturbing songs in the movie, as they joyously cackle and rant about what they're going to do to this jolly old elf. And of course, they end up coming up with the cruelest idea of all, which is giving him to the boogeyman. So, and I actually have a question for y'all. Do you think that Oogie Boogie is the same one as the who in the beginning of the movie is like, I am the shadow on the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fright? Because I think it is the same voice actor, and it does look a lot like the same design. But like, why is his shadow on the moon? Because like, while it does kind of have that like sack head kind of thing Oogie Boogie has, it could also just be like, his, like that's literally the shadow on the moon, and the sack is like the various shadow, the waning, waxing crescents and stuff, and then it dissolves into bats. But it's a musical number in a movie. Um, you know, I, there's a there's a great joke that Chad Rocco came up with where he says that Nightmare Before Christmas, being a kind of a transitional film between Halloween and Christmas, is the perfect movie for 3 months out of the year for if you're dating a goth chick. Because Valentine's Day. It's, but it's a very, it's a very classic film because it does channel a lot of that old school musical energy where you just kind of buy into the world. You don't need explanations. Um, there was this whole like intro narration by Patrick Stewart that got cut from the film, where he's like, oh, the many worlds that are dedicated to making your holidays just for you, and it's trimmed down to this older gentleman who I think is the voice of Santa Claus in the film. Um, there's a lot of very talented character actors in the movie. Uh, Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride is Jack Skellington, with Danny Elfman as the singing voice. Glenn Shaddix, Otho from Beetlejuice, uh, is the mayor. As I said, Craig Froops. Uh, I hate that I forgot her name. Kevin's mom from Home Alone as Sally. A very talented jazz singer, I believe, is Oogie Boogie. Um, Originally, Vincent Price was actually supposed to play Santa Claus, but there was an issue. You see, he had reached a severe depression because his wife had just passed when the film was being recorded. So his recordings came out very sad and depressed. And, so they kind of just paid him out of his contract, hired someone who could give more of the performance they wanted. The next time you want to bumpy sleigh ride, Jack. And this film is so full of great one-liners. Jack may have one of the coldest lines in history that just oozes like I am, like pure anger. How dare you treat my friend so shamefully? And a lot of people view it as Tim Burton's film. I disagree. Yes, Tim Burton created the visual aesthetic for it. He wrote the original poem. But this is Danny Elfman and Henry Selick's film. We saw what Tim Burton's stop motion films would look like with Corpse Bride. Not as good. Henry Selick was is the true reason why this film works. And there's this great movies that made us or whatever about the movie and how like a lot of the scripting involved Elfman's then girlfriend who wrote for Sally, or well, she like kind of gave the film its emotional core through Sally, and there's this like interesting dynamic that comes through where you have the scripter and the songwriter who were together at the time almost voicing themselves through the leads as Jack and Sally, and it's beautiful. It's so good. But that was the implication of the episodes of a documentarian series, and documentaries always documentaries are kind of deceptive. They have a narrative. You know, like documentaries nowadays, they're there to push a message, and that can make them a little deceptive at times. You saw it with Tiger King trying to make Joe Exotic out to be this anti-hero when he's really a racist buffoon. You see it with, or you saw it with the Fire Festival documentaries, which tried to make, this disgusting abuse of like money and time that led to a lot, basically Lord of the Flies, as like just a kooky misadventure. Um, you know, Narrative is important, but it's also important to recognize that it is a narrative and that your narrator may be unreliable. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about masks. Nightmare Before Christmas celebrates its 30th anniversary this year. Right, I forgot about that. That's why I'm recording this. And it'll be back in theaters. I think I may go see it if I have the time. Because I never got to see it in theaters. I mean, it's a movie that I grew up with, but only on the small screen. Which is funny because like it was not a success in theaters. It only like Disney didn't care about it. It Now they love Nightmare Before Christmas, and now it's everywhere. Like the Disneyland's Haunted Mansion gets a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay every Halloween through Christmas, which I'd love to see one day. Mind you, I think that the Orlando Haunted Mansion is better, but that's an argument for another day. Anyway, well, I gotta get ready for my new job. Y'all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm out.